This episode is sponsored by The Forum. The Forum has made a generous donation to the Mummers Museum, honoring the history and all of those who marched in the annual Mummers Day Parade. The Forum is a venue in Blackwood, New Jersey that was recently renovated and has capabilities of hosting a gala of up to 500 people or a small corporate meeting for 50. Equipped with a grand ballroom, the terrace room, the atrium garden ceremony area, as well as 3 bridal suites, the Forum is ideal for all your wedding, birthday, anniversary, and corporate needs. Looking to book that next event? Submit your needs right online at www.icccatering.com/proposal or email info@icccatering.com.
All right, we are back at the Mummers Museum, episode 3. We're on the street. Mike Jacobs, Billy Oakham, Haley Hearn. What's up, guys? How we doing?
Not much.
Another night of mom chat. You see we got a chair here. We'll have a guest join us in a little bit. We got a good one for you tonight. She's waiting. That's a clue. We said she. But we got a couple topics to get into tonight. We got a great guest lined up. We're going to review some of our polls, give some updates, and then just have a good time. Another night down here at the Mummers Museum. We got to thank Brian Donnelly and Cheyenne again for letting us in. Got the Mum Nation flag back there. We're ready to go. So if you noticed, if you listened or watched to us on Spotify, we have the poll going. We have some questions. We love hearing what you guys think, what the feedback is, and, you know, kind of getting involved in the conversations that we have with our episodes and stuff like that. So we want to give you an update on the first poll, which was the top 5 2025 for the Fancy Brigade division.
Yeah, so we asked you guys, who do you think of the top 5 or a newcomer would land in the top 5 this year? Who do you see winning and taking it all? So let's discuss. So I guess we'll go in order here. 30% voted the Stars.
Wow.
22% voted Spartans. Third, we actually have a tie which was 19% for the Vikings, and a newcomer taking first. And then there was no fourth because we had that tie. And then for fifth, we actually had another kind of tie between the Sats and the Downtowners with 5%. So hot takes over here, but kind of will segue into our poll for this episode, which will be related to the string band. So same type of thing. So stay tuned for that. Mm-hmm. But what do you guys think about? Well, I'm not even going to ask you. What do you think about?
I think it's great that the Downtowners tied for 5th again.
It was 4. It was 4.
You tied for 5th.
Can't get out of that tie. I think the cool thing about it is I think it's actually realistic. I think the votes are realistic, but I'm just wondering, so. Are you 29% of the vote on the Stars out of the 30?
No, you can only vote once. I did check.
How many were you knocking on doors, taking people's phones, and
make some
voting?
promises?
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's not that far off from the top 5 that we chose. Here,
no,
a lot of us had the same picks. I think we all had the Stars number 1. So it seems like our viewers agree that the Stars look like they're in good shape this year. I was surprised, but I should say pleasantly surprised that the Spartans popped up in the second, because you got to give them credit. I think they've had a lot of advancements. They've been getting really good over the last couple of years. They got a couple top 4 finishes. I wouldn't mind seeing them pop up to a number 2. It'd be good for them.
And the same for newcomer, because we tend to see the same people in the top 4 or 5. I know 5's like half the association at this point, but a newcomer would be a fresh face.
Would be awesome.
That'd be nice.
The 3 of us talk because we liked the Jokers a lot, and I feel like a lot of people may have considered their newcomer the Jokers. Again, we don't have proof on that, right? But I just feel like maybe some people out there feel confident in them, or maybe the other one that I think, because it was one of my sleeper picks, Satin Slipper.
Yeah.
I think either one of those could be the newcomer. And yeah, again, the tie for 4 or 5, whatever. Downtowners actually pulled. We noticed this a couple nights before the poll closed. Downtowners would have been out of the top 5. Actually, really? Yeah, they pulled even with the Sats. The Sats had the edge on the percentage for 5th. And then it was like maybe the last 2 days the poll was open.
Is this poll done, or is it still
This
running?
One's done, yeah. This one closed, so you can't vote on this one anymore.
Girls can't run their phones right now.
No,
I'm gonna call out Downtowners. You better start listening to this and voting for us, because
And then we have the poll that's running right now. It's not closed yet. As of the recording tonight was the poll for the wenches, which is, would you like to see the wenches stay more traditional or keep advancing with more props, different suits, skits, and things like that? And the results on that so far are...
I believe everyone's saying stay tradition right now, but it's just about like 60-40 from when I last checked earlier today. So
then everybody
pretty tight.
Would be a fan of Froggy Carr then, because they stay traditional, which Jason was big on. And actually, you know what we did last night, me and Haley at home? Watch the entire wench division.
It's great, isn't it?
Honestly, I never had a problem with it, but it's better when you understand what they're judged on and what their where their mind is when they put the themes together. You see it differently when you understand it. So I actually did. I thoroughly enjoyed.
To kind of preface and foreshadow, we were also doing our research on our guest today.
We were.
So
another hint.
Yeah.
Yes. But before we move on into new material, we got to backtrack a little bit. We had an update on Greater Kensington String Band from episode 1. We went through the themes. We announced them as Monster High.
Yes.
And Haley, they are
what? They're actually Sky High. So that is what they're submitting as their concept for 2025.
And we're going to leave it at that. As far as what their theme is, I got a little bit of an inside scoop because I was pleasantly surprised, and I talked to you, Billy, about it, and I mentioned it to you that some of the people from Kensington reached out to us. First of all, I was shocked that many people listened to the first episode like that quickly. But they reached out not in a bad way. They complimented and they gave a lot of love to the episode. And then they gave us some backstory about how they changed their theme, why they did, and gave me a little insider info about what it is. But I won't tell anybody what it is. Sky High is what it says publicly. Do with that what you will. But we did talk pretty positively about Kensington. And regardless of theme choice, I think the positivity stands because they're on the upswing. They're up and coming. They got a lot of good stuff. And we talked a little bit about what the new theme is and the concepts behind it. I share a little bit hush hush behind the scenes. But what are you guys' thoughts on what it is?
I'm actually more excited for what I'm seeing now.
Yeah, I definitely like that
too.
More than the Monster High. I
kind of wish that I had another chance at my picks now that I know they got a different theme. Because I was a little bit skewed on, Again, I said in the first episode, I wasn't a huge fan of the Monster High idea. I do like this idea better. It's very different. You'll see New Year's how different it is, but they can do a lot of really cool things.
It's been more open-ended just with that.
For sure. I do like it a lot. So thank you, Kensington, for letting us know your update. Thank you for liking the show. And actually, ready for this one, the talks about their theme changing, we got another guest for the show because the drill director of Kensington would like to come down and join us one night and talk about some of the advancements of the club and the direction that they're headed in. So John Barron's going to be down here one night.
That's good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's great. The guests keep the show going. The ideas keep the show going. The sponsors keep the show going. And we can't move on without mentioning some of our sponsors tonight. Billy, what do you got for us?
First of all, we have to mention the Mummers Museum.
Have to.
Everybody, please join. If you need information on joining, you can see one of us guys. You can check on Mum Nation, or you can go to the Mummers Museum page. But their Fall Festival and Fender Market is on October 19th from 10 a.m. to 6. They're going to have games, kids rides, a DJ, face painting, bouncing house, food trucks, and of course beer and some live string band music. So stop on by when you come by that day, have some fun, spend some money, and join the Mummers Museum.
And then about a month after that, November 17th, they have the Mummers for Veterans Drive from 1 to 3. So we'll be here collecting donations. Check it out. It's for a really good cause. So a lot of good stuff coming up.
I've attended the Mummers for Vets thing the last couple of years too, to take pictures and video. And I got to say, it's a pretty cool
fantastic
event to come see. So don't even just give a donation, which is awesome. Come out and check it out. The ceremony that they put on right down in the main lobby. I assume it's going to be in the same spot, Bill. Do you know?
I believe so.
Right on the other side of the front doors of the Mummers Museum is where they do it. And they have chairs set up. They give an award to a veteran. They honor like one particular person. Really, really cool ceremony to see that, and how much that the Mummers community likes to take care of the vets, because I think they're too forgotten in a lot of other communities, to be honest with you. So it's a great event. Come out to both of those things, and don't leave either one without becoming a member of the Mummers Museum. a lot of great benefits to that, and a lot of good things go on around here. So definitely support in that way. But moving on to new material, we have a guest tonight. We kind of teased it a little bit. It is a her. It is a she. She is also an animal lover. She is also part of a Mummers family, and she's also part of the parade's broadcast team, and that is Miss Megan McFarland will be joining us tonight. Great guest. So Megan, come on in.
It's nice to see you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I've watched your first few episodes. You guys are doing such great work, and it's an honor to be here to talk all things Mummers.
Thank you. We have a lot of, speaking of great work, we have a lot of things to talk about with you.
Yes.
You are such a proponent with the mom community and animal community, and we'll get into that. But just in general, first off, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good. So how did you get your start in the mom community?
Well, I feel like since I'm from 2nd Street, born and raised on 3rd and Jackson, I didn't think I really had much of an option. I think we all know that. None of us here did. It's just you're born into it. My dad has been a mummer almost my entire life, or involved in a lot of the mummers. He started off in Froggy Car. And so it's just been something I've always been a part of. And my neighbor, Jimmy Muller, he was in Quaker City my whole life. And so as a little girl, I used to draw Quaker City #1 signs in crayons and put it on his door every New Year's. And so that was one of my favorite things to do. And I just was, I was enthralled by it. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't really an option. It was kind of like being an Eagles fan or a Phillies fan. If you're from South Philly or from 2nd Street, you're part of the Mummers.
I didn't realize you were neighbors with Jimmy Miller. Such a great guy.
Oh, the best. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I consider him and Al like aunt and uncle to me. I think they're kind of like the king and queen of like string band in general. But they're just the greatest people. And
yeah, they really are.
Wonderful. I mean, he's just one of the best players. He played at my serenade and at my wedding. He was a guest and he got up with his banjo and played when Quaker City came in at my wedding. It's just, there's just so many wonderful memories that you have when it comes to the neighbors and the family when it comes to mummery.
And you had Quaker City at your wedding.
Of course I did. And the serenade.
I like you more and more. You can come to any episode you want now.
Absolutely. You have to have mummers if you're getting married anywhere. If you're from South Philly, you have to have mummers at your wedding. And I remember our venue being like, what's happening? Because we got married on the main line. And so they didn't really know what mummers were. And so they kind of like popped out of the kitchen and stuff, which was, I always think it's really fun when you're showing people who don't really understand mummers or who don't maybe even care so much when you're showing them what it's about.
And the funny thing about that is that it's so normal
to us.
Right. And outsiders look at us like we're aliens, and it's us.
It's just us.
I love when one side of the family or a portion of the family is, like Megan said, is from outside. And then, like you said, normal people to us get up and start strutting around and they're like,
what is this?
What is going on?
What is this?
Usually by the end, they're all...
I ordered like 100 umbrellas. And speaking of the Mullers, Jimmy Muller's wife, Eleanor, we call her Doll, she made a beautiful groom and bride, a white umbrella for me and a black one for my husband. It was beautiful. Cool. I still have it preserved in my basement because it was just something that was just so magical.
That's
cool.
Great.
That's really nice.
And your husband, Jason, he's in Caerleon?
He is, yeah. He's one of the founding members of Caerleon, which is a wench brigade. And he went out with a couple other clubs, but him and his friends got together. I think they're celebrating 19 years. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I think this would have been their 20th year marching.
Wow.
I know, right? It feels like Caerleon was like, it was a baby. I like to think Caerleon was a lot of our relationship because I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd year when him and I met. So, I kind of feel like I watched Caerleon grow up as our relationship kind of grew up too, which was really awesome.
Tell them where you guys met.
We met at the Shamrock Pub on 2nd and Reed on Serenade Night for the Fancy Brigades. It's a real Mummers family. And yeah, I mean, we went out for Serenade Night. We were watching football at the Shamrock, popping out to see Brigades go by. And and then he invited me back to Caerleon's club afterwards. So I guess I was in.
Now, Caerleon, where they are now, is that their original club?
It's not. They started off on front, like Water Street, right under 95, and they moved. They didn't have a club for a while, but they did a lot of work. My husband and my father, in particularly, I watched them, and of course, with so many of the other members, literally take down walls in this house and make it into their club of what it is now. And it's beautiful. They did a great job.
Yeah, they're an next door neighbor.
Yeah, I know. They get a little rowdy.
They have a really nice
Well, no.
I like their club. They have a nice spot. It's a nice. They look like they take care of it too. Like they
do.
really care.
Yeah, they
about
have a
it.
lot of community
That
pride.
street is, to me, that's Mummers Row. Because you got
Yeah.
Fralinger, and then you have the Merrymakers, Caraleone,
Quaker,
Stars,
yep.
Quaker. And you don't get much better than that.
You really don't. I mean, I feel like
there's
that's
only a
like
couple neighbors in the middle, and one of them's the Fiokas, who's in the Stars. So, and Furnace is
A lot of the
closed.
guys that live on that block or within, like, on Mifflin or on McKean are all in the clubs too. Got Jimmy Muller Jr. lives right around there. A couple guys from South Philly. They all live, right in that area. So it is. I agree.
Oh, it's great when Quaker uses upstairs to practice at our club now.
Yes.
But when they're in their club, they open the back door for some air, and we open our back door, and the sound comes right in. You can't miss it.
Nothing better than Quaker
great,
City
isn't it?
string bands.
The music's so good.
Oh my gosh, they're my favorite.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
amazing. You always wonder whether or not you annoy the neighbors with that, but then every once in a while we would send Christmas cards to neighbors, and you would meet them face to face, and they always say how much they love hearing the sound through the wall. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I would love that too much, but it seems like they have been doing, like, they live there for years, and they love it. They look forward to Wednesday night when you have rehearsal and
Yep.
stuff. It's like, all right, hey, whatever, as long as we're
As long
not,
as it's not 2:00 in the morning, right?
yeah, definitely. How's your husband think? What does he think about the theme that they're doing this year? Is he excited about
He's
it?
very excited. They're doing Scooby-Doo.
I love it.
For me, is
Yes.
exciting because there's a dog involved, and obviously I'm a big animal lover for me. So I've been trying to convince Caraleone for 17 years to do dog themes because I love dogs. But yeah, they're doing Scooby-Doo. I think there'll probably be a mystery van involved and some Shaggy and some really cool vibes there as well. And my dad and my niece are going to be going out with the MGK Outsiders, and they're new to the Wench. They used to be in the they used to be with the comics, and they actually moved to the Wenches last year. So that is like a newer Wench club. So they'll be going out there. So I just have every single brigade that comes up
How
the
come
street.
your dad don't go with Kara?
He did for a long time, but he moved to Jersey, and he kind of just like made his way around. And he was with Froggy for years, and then he was a member of Caraleone for years. I think he just likes kind of like dipping his toe in different, kind of getting to know everybody. And he hasn't actually went out in a while. He was just marshalling with Caraleone. He hadn't wore a suit for a while. So he decided to go out with my niece this year. So I think it'll be fun. He hasn't had a suit on in a while. So I'm really pumped to see my dad in
That's
a Wench
awesome.
suit, because it's
Very
like my
cool.
favorite thing. Like,
So you're gonna be hanging out of the box again?
you think? I mean, I think I'm known for. I actually was a little scared both years that I may or may not like break the actual booth because of how hard I strut in the booth, because I get so excited when I see my family and friends, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'm like talking to everybody, and I'm strutting because I can't hear a brass band
And not.
strut.
We talked about that last week.
Yes.
It's
Now, what's that
impossible.
like, the view? I mean, we see Froggy Carr and the Pirates walking by. What's it like being in the box and seeing them come directly straight at you?
I'll tell you, it gives me butterflies. It gives me like all
I got the chills
hair.
asking you the question.
It gives me chills. So what you see is us, and then our back is actually to the brigade, because we actually have a TV that shows us what's actually being shown on TV
Okay.
versus what some things we might see that the viewers aren't seeing. So I turn around because I'm like, they're showing them. I want to see them. I don't want to see it on a little screen. I want to see it live. But again, just absolute chills. One of the coolest things I can tell you is we meet at this hotel a couple blocks from the booth, get our makeup done. We're getting we have our books together. We're just kind of getting things together in the morning. And when we walk up Broad to the booth, and you see, the fancy setting up, and you see the string bands, and they're already playing their music, getting tuned, and you see the Wenches coming around the hall, and you're walking up to the booth, and you see the lights and the cameras, and you're like, oh my God, this is magical. I wish I could bottle that feeling and share it with people, because it is the coolest thing. And as a little girl growing up watching that parade, to be able to stand there on stage and talk about this parade that means so much to me, and talk about Mummers and how much community orientation there is, and how much they do more than just New Year's Day. It blows my mind. It's an honor.
How exciting was it when they asked you initially?
Yeah, how did that go?
It was, I would say, probably one of the better days of my life. Yeah, I mean, there's only so many things, right, that you're like, to me, I look at it like I'm a nobody, right? Who am I to have this opportunity? And I don't take it lightly. I really don't. I take it seriously. I want to do my research. I'm not perfect. I'm sure I've mispronounced some names. I've made mistakes, but it really comes from the heart. I do this. It's volunteer. I do it because I really want to get the point across about mummers and about how wonderful these organizations are and how much work is put in. But Dave Grzybowski had called me because we had met. I had a segment on PHL 17 where I had adoptable dogs on every week. And he used to be, an anchor there. And so we got to know each other. He moved down to CBS in North Carolina and he wound up coming back up here. And he became involved with the parade. And he said, I've kind of been throwing your name around. And the associations said, yeah. And I was like, me? Why? Are you sure? Like, is it somebody else? Exciting. Coolest thing in the world, man. And it was just awesome. And like I said, I don't take it lightly. I take it very seriously. I know how serious this is for so many people. And I hope I do everybody proud.
Was there any nerves when the excitement wore off? After the initial, this was great.
I'll tell you. So the first year I did it, you get the headset on and I've had TV, but I've been on segments where there were 3 minutes. I've never been on live TV for 4 hours straight. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. When we went live for the first year, I thought I was going to pass out for there was a nice second where I was like, I might go down live on air and I'm going to become a meme and I'm going to go viral and it's going to be awful. But I gathered myself and I think the first, I can't rewatch myself because I'm like, oh gosh, I just hate watching myself on TV. But I think for the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I was a little shaky. And then I got my footing and then I started to feel really comfortable. And then by the second year, I was like, I got this.
How many years have you done it now? 2
years. This will be my third, 2025 will be my third year.
And you were nominated for an Emmy on your second year?
Correct. Yes. What an honor.
That's awesome.
Thank you. The whole Mummers team. I have to give a shout out to Sammy, to the whole team at MeTV too. They have been absolutely incredible to work with. We are just, I'm blown away. And I know people in our community are like, we want them on every channel, and it's like, yeah, we do. This channel has done such good things for the Mummers. And obviously Live Casino, they've, been a huge sponsor for the parade. And Dave Grzybowski and there's just so many people, Dawn and Larry Menti who do the commentating. It's just incredible, and just what an honor to work with these people and to be alongside people in the business, to be mentioned in a conversation that has the word Emmy in it.
Yeah.
Is this the first nomination for the parade?
So this is the first one. We tried, I think, the first year, and it was brand new to the station, so I think it was a little tough. But we did not win officially. We know that we did not win this year. However, to be nominated is such an honor, and I think that you're going to see big things from the parade coming up, and I think you're going to see more of these nominations and hopefully a win. Can you imagine? Because if we could put an Emmy in the Mummers Museum, get out of here.
You'd be walking down Jackson Street.
I'll have it hanging on my necklace. I'll be like, oh my God, get out of here.
Yeah, it's definitely not a joke. The whole Mid-Atlantic chapter is very large. So to think that the parade, out of all the options that could have been even nominated, right, and what it went up against, I had to Google because I had to see what it went up against in the category, and it's legit things. You can check it out. Google Mid-Atlantic Chapter Emmy Award nominations 2024, and it's not like it was up against things that were, a joke of a broadcast. There's sports things on there. There's Comcast, NBC Sportsnet programs, CBS 3 News, Fox 29, big market things this went up against. And I think that's amazing.
I think so too. I think it shows maybe that we're in this next step of mummery, right?
Yeah.
There's a new level of the mummers out there, right? And there's a new level of the parade. There's a new level of the brigades. There's, we're kind of living up to a bigger expectation, right? And I think that's awesome. And I think we should all be super proud. And I think everyone who's involved in mummers at all, from any brigade, from any organization, should be super proud of the way that we have kind of rebranded our parade a little bit and rebranded mummery in a little bit and have moved into the next generation.
Yeah, Jason mentioned that last week when he was talking about it was known for drinking and stuff like that in the wenches, and it's not like that anymore. Of course they drank.
There's still some drinking that happens.
Yeah, of course they drank, but it's it's not on the level that it was. There's a lot more children involved, little kids involved and stuff, and that's fantastic.
You see a lot more women in wenches than you ever saw, and it was something that just women weren't really a part of, and they are in a lot of clubs, which I'm super proud of, and I love seeing that. I love seeing the kids out there. I love seeing, different cultures. It's changed, and I think it's changed for the better. And I think I loved your poll earlier about tradition versus, new innovation and new things. And I think there can be both, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful part about mummery is we can still protect our tradition while moving into the next generation.
I like that.
The other thing too is there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
There's a part of the mummers, whatever corner it is, there's something for everyone.
Whether you like music, whether you're more into dance, whether you're more into costuming, whether you're more into, just kind of a background type of thing, it's great. And I've actually heard stories that I love hearing about young kids who get involved in the arts because of mummery.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Like how that is just, could you hear anything better?
Yeah.
Love that.
I love it too. And it, you know what? It's funny. A lot of people, you hear it every year that, we need to move with the times. We need to advance. And they're talking about the divisions and the competition, right? But I think what a lot of people forget is what also needs to advance and move with the time is the broadcast, is the parade, right? The actual physical parade itself, what we do, how we go about it, what's the route, what do we do, where is it, right? How the broadcast is presented, is it interactive? Does it become more digital? Is there TV audience interaction from the standpoint of polls and voting and all that kind of stuff, like the People's Choice, all that sort of thing? That needs to keep advancing too, because I think I've seen more advancements with that in the last maybe 2 years. I think it advanced pretty good, I would say, back when, what was it, Southwest Airlines was the title sponsor, and they were the ones that brought in the I guess they called it People's Choice Award at the time, and they brought in it got big, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was the last time you saw a step in the right direction for the broadcast itself. 2006, right? That was. So when you think about it, it's like it's time for us
for the next step
to move. The parade and the themes and the shows and the props and the costumes every year
we're going to get bigger, right? And better,
but everything else has to match that too.
Because then it's for nothing.
Yeah. You got to hold the interest. Unfortunately, not every single person that takes in the parade can be there in person. So I think that the broadcast or the television portion, or however that's going to be, you have to make them feel like they're as there as possible, as they're as part of it as they possibly can be. And maybe it's just because I do production stuff for work and I'm into that sort of thing, but I don't think it's overlooked. I really don't. I think you need to put that much emphasis in it. And I'm glad that a network like, what is it, WFMZ?
WFMZ and MeTV too. Yeah.
They seem to care or put fresh eyes.
They do. Barry,
and I think it's awesome.
He's the GM there, and I'll tell you, I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I don't think Barry knew a ton about mummers before they got involved in the parade. And I don't know if you know that last year, the first year that it was on MeTV and WFMZ, that there was like weeks to put together a broadcast. Weeks. It was crazy.
Yeah, they stepped in at the end, right?
Oh my gosh, it was wild. And we were like, there was just stuff flying at every end. It was crazy. But that man has really engulfed himself in all things mummer. And I don't know if you guys saw, it was really cool. Like the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, they like did a mummers night. Did you go? You guys went? I thought I saw your picture there. Yeah. So cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. That's really outreaching more.
I have to say too, being there in person, it was really well received by a lot of people that didn't look like they had a clue what it was, but they were very open. Very open to it. And it was funny. I was waiting by the bathroom. My dad was in the bathroom washing his hands, and I was standing there, and there was a bunch of people walking by, and there was a guy walking with like a little kid, I'm assuming his son. And I just overheard the last bit of their conversation, and what I heard the guy say, I put a smile on my face, because he was like, "This is a really big deal. These people are usually only out like once a year." Like they think it was this big deal that the mummers came out and they had costumes on and they're playing because it wasn't New Year's Day, and it's just amazing to me that people outside the city, I don't want to say hold it in a higher regard than people that see it all the time, but I think that mentality, like you said, Barry, from the station, didn't know much about mummers before, maybe that's a good thing, because somebody that has fresh eyes
Can see a fresh vision.
Exactly.
Hey, Jason Kelsey. I mean, him wearing that suit. I mean,
Changed a lot, right? I mean, that was
opened a
one
lot
of
of
the.
eyes.
I think that was one of the coolest moments in Mummers history, right? Because we had national eyes,
Yeah.
and people were probably Googling what the heck is he doing?
How about Monday Night Football the other night? The ESPN
Yes.
analyst had a suit on.
The
And then,
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Savannah Bananas.
Oh yeah.
Savannah Bananas at a South Philly
So
string
look,
band.
I mean, we're getting there,
costume.
right?
Yeah,
like
we're
it's
getting
not
there.
just a
It's
Second
only
Street.
taken over 100 years, but we're getting
We're
there.
getting there. This will be the 124th parade, 125th.
Yeah, it's something like
Something.
that.
I think it's 124.
2000 was 100. So
Yeah, there we go. 24. 124. 124, which is, I mean, think about it. Like, we don't know anyone. It's our great, great, great grandfathers that started this, you know? It's so cool.
I think it's cool that we were all brought up into it.
Yeah.
Like how lucky are we that we
Yeah.
just so happen to kind of you can't choose where you're born, right? But you're born in an environment like this.
I think I'd choose this all over again. You know, if
I was real
would.
lucky. I was born and raised right on up 3rd Street, but it was 2nd Street. So it was right outside the window. And my dad was so into it. So we jumped right into it. Now our kids are into it. Now our grandkids are into it. And they love it.
The best. I loved Sunday mornings when I used to hear the string bands, and I used to hear, you know, just and then I'd go to Target and I'd see everybody, you know, under the bridge doing their routines.
That's
and
one of my
stuff.
favorite things that everybody drills under
Absolutely.
95
Yeah.
still to this day.
I still can get chill, and one of my favorite things was watching the beer trucks up 2nd Street when you'd see all the U-Hauls. And that was one of my favorite things.
Loading the back pieces the night before.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
like they got the beer, they got the costumes, they're ready to go. This is the best.
I used to get excited New Year's morning when we would walk up to the club and there was no cars on 2nd Street and it looked so big and you're like, oh yeah, now it's like New Year's.
Stuff is going to go down here. It's going to be awesome.
I like driving straight down 2nd Street, and all the buildings pretty much look the same, but a little different. But they all have that window upstairs that the back pieces used to come out of, which they don't anymore, but they
Where you
still
can
have
open
them.
it with the 2 doors.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
And a lot of people, like I would bring friends down for hat day, or they would help Marshall. And a lot of them would have that same question. Why do you have a balcony, like doors that it doesn't go anywhere? Like, well, let me tell you.
Being Marshalls, how many people have came down here and had no idea what they were getting themselves into and ended up having so much fun that they joined, so much so that they're in costumes now?
Anybody that I ever brought.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Because you don't want to be on the back end of it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you gave me a little bit, you gave me like a teaser. You were allowing me to be a little bit of a part of this. And now I want more. You know, it's like a drug. It's addicting.
You mentioned having string bands that play at your wedding. I had string band play at my high school graduation party. And I had a friend from school that was there from the school band and was like, I got to get in this. I graduated high school 2011, and he's still in the string bands now.
Oh, that's so
He came
cool.
down to rehearsal that week, and
He
he's
fell
been
in love
it
with
ever
it.
since.
That's where he fell in love with it. That's amazing.
That's what it does, though.
It's
That's
catchy.
what the parade does.
Yeah.
You know, it's unbelievable. And you hear a lot of people say when, growing up, and you traveled with the string bands to other places to do parades, a lot of people in different towns or cities or states would say, I can't believe I've never heard of this, or how is this not a bigger thing? And I actually would wonder that too. I don't know how it never got bigger. I just think that the people did it for so long. I don't want to say they got complacent with how big it was in the area, but the Mummers were like rock stars in the city back in the 50s and 60s. And I think if they would have traveled a little further back then, which I'm not saying they didn't, bands did travel and brigades traveled, but it's more so now. And I think that is one of the components as to why
You said
it's getting bigger, plus social media,
We got to go global.
You said rock star. Real quick memory, when we were kids, we used to play long ball over Furnace. And I remember the ball went over the fence. And Bobby Shannon was just walking down the street going to the club. And he picked the ball up and he threw it to me. And he said my name. And then when I went back in, all the other kids were like, Bobby Shannon knows your name? Because he was like a rock star.
He was the king.
Yeah, he's the king of mummers.
He is. I mean, he'll always be.
Yeah.
He's just, I grew up in that, like in the Bobby
was my
Shannon
era.
era, And I remember he was so massively tall. And you just thought, wow, that is the coolest guy I've ever met.
You thought it was the greatest thing you ever seen when he came out, performed, and then Billy Bowen would come out and start dancing, and you'd be like, oh my God, it's just another level.
So wonderful. Those are some of the best memories in the world.
Yeah.
I remember one year going to the old show of shows at the Civic Center.
That was the best time.
The show of shows.
And I was a little kid. I was like 5 or 6, and I was my dad was in string band at the time, an Uptown string band, and their captain wanted to bring me out for the captains would come out with the first prize band and strut around at the end. So he said, come on, come out with me. So we were standing on the side and he was holding my hand. I'll never forget, same thing. Bobby Shannon walked up next to him. And then when you're 5, he was like 1,000 feet tall, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Bob
And I swore he had a glow around his head.
Oh,
I swear he did.
He just emanated, like, what's that word? You know what I'm thinking. It just resonated off of him. Like,
I used to get a job every year up there to sell the programs, but I would never sell them. I would take my bag and I would sit up top, and then I would sneak downstairs because my dad was always in there in the back drinking with the Fralinger guys. And it was just amazing, especially being in Winter's Row. The stuff that happened in FM Walls could talk.
yeah.
I wish they could bring that back.
now Megan, did you go to stuff like that? Because did you have anybody in the string bands, or you were all wenches, right?
I was mostly wenches, but the string bands were my favorite. Sorry, Wench Brigade. You know, I love you very much. But I love the string bands and I love the fancies. And I was like, when I was young, I was really big in the arts. So I loved the performances. So yeah, I went to shows in Atlantic City with my mom when it used to be an AC a couple years.
Yeah.
And it was my Christmas present, you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And just being involved, I loved seeing them I feel like they do a lot more. I know they've always done parades like locally and things, but I feel like they do a lot more. And I know Sammy is a big part of that, getting them, you know, they do that big parade in Haddon Township, which was really awesome. And they do, you know, multiple things in Wildwood that I actually just helped host the other week with Bob Kelly, the string band weekend, and they do a mini parade right outside Keenan's.
It was a good time.
Oh my gosh, it started pouring.
Yeah.
And I took a video of everyone running, and it was pouring rain, and I think it was Uptown String Band had just come down the street. They come back up and they're playing Michael Row Your Boat Ashore. It's like, this is great. Like, it was just great. And then as soon as the rain stopped, everybody just went right back out and continued watching. And it was great.
Was that your first live event on the mic?
No, I had done, what was it? The Luau, the string band Luau, the summer before at Seaport Pier, which was really, really fun too. And so this time it was like, I got to have fun. And Avalon did Fly Eagles Fly, and I'm huge Eagles fans, go Birds. And so I was just in the middle of the street. Like, I had the microphone under my armpit and I was just strutting and singing Fly Eagles Fly. And
Have you ever worn a costume?
never. I know everyone asked me that. They're like, I don't know. I think I've always liked being in the background of it. And I really like the position I'm in now, which is being able to be like this kind of like spokesperson who can go out in the community and talk about the parade, talk about mummers, talk about the individual clubs, talk about the community service. And I think that's like where I'm meant to be. But it is funny. People ask that all the time. They're like, what do you mean you've never been in a suit? I'm like, I've never been in a suit.
Do you hang out up there when the comics are done and get that good seat for the string bands?
So I really wish I did. I might this year. The first 2 years, I didn't sleep at all, so I wanted to go home and get a little mummer's nap, and I would watch the string bands, make sure I was recording them, take a little nap, and then go back out on 2nd Street, because I got maybe an hour of sleep the night before because of the nerves and everything. Maybe this year I'll get more sleep the night before.
I feel like that doesn't go away.
It doesn't. The excitement. I took a melatonin. I had an eye mask. I had earphones on so that like I couldn't hear when people were doing like, you know, the midnight celebrations. And it still was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then 5, my alarm went off. And I was like, well, here we go.
Sleeping is tough that night.
It's a tough one.
For
Doesn't
all of us.
matter how ready you feel.
No.
Yeah.
No matter what, though, I could sleep for an hour, wide awake.
Yeah.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm ready to go.
As soon as you hear the brass band down the street, your eyes pop open.
Every single New Year's morning, I come out of my bedroom. My mom was like, "You can't get up for school, but you're up for it."
Yes, sir.
My niece does that. She does not like to get up early. And I remember I took her out her first year. She was like 3, and she was been going out every year since. And she would stay over at my house the night before, and I'd wake up and I'd do her makeup and my husband's makeup, and you know get everybody ready. And I thought like, oh, she's gonna, you know, once she got to the teenage years, like she's never gonna want to do this. She's gonna say, no, I want to sleep in, or I want to go out with my friends the night before for New Year's Eve. Nope. She's like, it's the best day of the year. And I'm like, you're right, it is. And she loves it. Oh my God. She is like the biggest Little Mummers fan ever.
I remember one year I woke up and it was like 7:30 New Year's morning.
Panic attack.
Right, because 7:30 New Year's morning is late, right?
Yeah,
and I
you're late for makeup.
Running into my parents' room. I didn't even say a word yet. My dad's like, postpone, go back to bed. I was like, nah.
Postpone going to the club.
Okay. Now, does anyone here, now I have it, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not even in the parade, you guys are. Have you had the nightmares of oversleeping?
Oh, every year.
And the nightmares that something happens with your costume or something like, I have them. I'm not even in the parade.
I always have a recurring dream where no matter what, I can't get my costume on fast enough, and everybody's like leaving, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Just can't get it on. What am I gonna do?
This is the idiotic things that pop into all of our heads because everybody has.
I come close and I'm already a little clumsy as it is. I always feel like I'm gonna face plant on confetti on the floor. Like I'm gonna slip on confetti and I'm gonna go right down.
I gotta say, I've tripped. I've never fallen.
Well, that's good.
But I have tripped.
We give an oops award. Whoever messes up the most, then at the club votes. Yeah, I got it. 1998.
I love that you know the year right off of the top of your head.
You don't forget.
If he's a winner, he's gonna remember. You know?
And we got second that year, and I got the oops award right out front. Boom.
One of my first costumes, I had to wear a dragon mascot suit, and I tripped in the judging area, and the head fell off. But I caught it and put it back on.
Look that video up.
I'm sure
Is it really fun? How many times have you watched it, Haley?
10 people out there that if you're listening to this and you're a really big Mummers fan, and they heard that, they just went, that's the guy, because they probably already know.
Stop,
That's
so
the next
funny.
tape moment. Nation.
Yeah. Okay, your oops award year in my head.
It's there. It's there.
Now, what's your prep for the parade, the broadcast stuff? When do you start, and do you watch all the old tapes and put stuff together, make notes? What do you do?
So the first thing I did when I got the gig, I called Steve Highsmith.
Perfect.
And I was served on the board at the Mummers Museum for about 10 years with him. So luckily I had his cell phone number, and I called him up and I said, Steve, how do I do this? And I'm scared. Give me all of your notes. And he did. And he told me what to look for, what not to look for, what to say, what not to say. And that made me even more nervous.
That's a tough act to follow because he was good.
He's the best. He is the voice of the Mummers, and he'll always be the voice of the Mummers. And so it was scary. And he gave me just incredible advice. And he was like, act like you're sitting talking to your friends while watching the parade. Don't curse. But other than that, go ahead and say what you're seeing, say what's exciting. And one of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten in my life was the second I stepped out of that booth, he was the first person to text me.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he was like, you killed it. He was like, great job. And I was like, oh my God, thank you, Steve. And so that moment was so full circle. And Steve was the very first time I was actually on TV. I had started Mums and Mutts, and I was young, and I'd started this nonprofit, and I was going to be on TV, and it was Mummers Helping Rescue Animals. And Steve had me on. He had a show called like In Focus on NBC 10. It was my very first time on live TV, or I don't even know if it was pre-taped, but anyway, it was my first TV appearance. And I had this little puppy, my very first foster dog, Darla. And I sat on TV with me, and then, he helped me so much take Mums and Mutts from like a very small idea to a very big thing. And so I've always looked at him as a mentor. So to be able to have this opportunity to be on the broadcast, I could never fill his shoes, and none of us can, none of us never will. But to get a little bit of his, insider information was incredible. It was just such an honor, and then when he texted me, I'm telling you, I was like, I could have just ran through a wall down Broad Street. I was so excited,
I will say, I just wanted to bring up, I know we were talking about like how this is growing and everything and how the broadcast is improving. And I have to say, as someone who, I don't really get to watch the broadcast because we're always already doing our own thing, but just doing my research, just more about your involvement and everything. I feel like you are doing it such a good service.
Oh,
seriously,
you.
Because to have a face that not only people can enjoy and feel familiar with, but who enjoys what they're doing too. Yeah. So I feel like you're aiding in that.
And one of us. You're one of us.
Thank you guys. Listen, like I said, it's an honor. I don't know. Sometimes I want to pinch myself when I'm up there in that booth because if someone would have told 3-year-old Megan, you know, that was going to be something she was going to be doing, it just I wouldn't have even believed it. And again, I'm not perfect. I try my best, and I want to make everybody proud. And there's a huge weight on my shoulders when it comes to making sure that I'm really doing the right thing by the mummers, and I'm saying the right things. And I try to talk to all the captains because I want to phonetically make sure I know how to, say each name, because I don't want to mispronounce someone's name that passed on, or their kid's first parade, and that can be stressful. And so I try my best, and I thank you. It's so sweet and so kind. And I mean, the feedback has been great. People have been so loving and have opened me with such open arms. And I've been involved in brigades that I haven't even really stepped foot in before, who are like, I'll see people out and they're like, oh my gosh, Megan, drinks are on us. You come to the club. And I'm like, thank you. That's so nice, So I'm a small fish in a very, very big pond, and I'm just honored to be there.
I was wondering if your professional work, what you do for a living, had anything to do with the industry, because it seemed like you just kind of melt it right in.
So maybe broadcasting was something that I was meant to do, but I'm in real estate, and I'm a leasing manager for a property management firm in Northern Liberties Premier Access. I've been there like 6 years, and we have a lot of townhomes and luxury apartments and things like that, and I do the leasing for that, which I think you kind of, in broadcasting, you got to have the gift of gab, maybe a little bit to do both. So that might be why it seamlessly kind of worked out for me.
You have the people person, personality.
I could talk,
And you have a nice voice. It's a pleasant voice.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind. Thank you.
I definitely think you took the advice from Steve. It sounds like when you're sitting in there, you're watching the parade, really watching it, not the surface level. I have absolutely no idea what I'm seeing, and I'm just going to say everything's beautiful. It really does sound
not
like
reading the script. It's coming from your heart.
It sounds like your post-show comments about the theme are valid and like you just watched it.
I try to do my research too. I try to meet with the captains. I try to meet. I absolutely love Golden Sunrise. And I'll be honest, before I did the parade, I had zero idea what the fancy division did. I just remember it was like King Jockey, and I remember seeing them, as the first people on the parade growing up. And I learned so much about, and I would go to the club and talk to Jack Cohen and talk to all the members there. And when I tell you, they call themselves the little club that could, and it is the most beautiful club of just diversity and love. And they're just out there to have fun. They don't have anyone that they're against. They're the last of the fancy,
competing against themselves,
and they're just there to have fun. And I think that is so cool and so awesome. And getting to know them has been such an honor too, because I never really knew. I was like, oh, you want me on TV? Well, I got to do some research because I really don't know what's happening there. But I've learned so much from them. They had me at their banquet as a guest, which was so sweet, and I feel like I'm part of their family now. It's incredible. It really is.
Now, you mentioned earlier Mums and Mutts. So can you, I'm familiar, but can you just give any listeners?
Haley did the face painting for years at the Fall Festival.
That's how I got to know you.
So I started Mums and Mutts in 2010, which was Mummers Helping Rescue Animals, after I adopted my first dog, Lexi. And we ran that for years, and we supported about 20 to 25 different shelters and rescues with funding for spay and neuter clinics or advanced surgeries, lots and lots of things. Unfortunately, we did dissolve it a couple of years ago because, I'll be honest, it's in the best way possible, it became too big. And unless I was going to quit my job and run that full time, and it was all volunteer work, there was just no way it could continue on the path that it was going, which was just getting bigger and bigger, which is such a testament to A, the mummers, B, this neighborhood, and C, my family and friends, who just, every organization wanted to be a part of it and wanted to help, would make baskets, would come and help us set up tables. The Mummers Museum would donate their tables to, for us to use. And it was beautiful. And I'm so thankful to the Mummers community who brought me in and allowed me to do this. And I thought it was really also a great way to support mummery, of saying, hey guys, we're a big group of mummers and mummer lovers, and look what we're doing. We're raising, over the course of the 13 years that I had Mums and Mutts, we raised close to like $500,000. That's a lot of money, and a lot of animals were saved. Adoptions were happening at the events that we were hosting, and people, the feedback was just incredible. But it got unsustainable.
Yeah. The mummers community as a whole is very, very giving.
So giving.
I mean, if somebody in your family passes away, they're your first phone calls. They come and they're there for everything.
Absolutely. I mean, you got Mummers Against Cancer. Obviously we had Mums and Mutts. There's so many organizations, and each club is doing things for veterans. They're doing things for animals. They're doing things for cancer. They're doing things for kids. They're so involved in the community, and that has been one of my biggest talking points on the parade. And every time I have a microphone in front of me and I'm given the opportunity to talk about mummers, is how much they do for the community. It is not just New Year's Day. Yeah, and New Year's Day, they put on a hell of a show, but what they do 364 days a year is incredible, and people should know about it.
They should. There should be more positive stories out there, but we kind of, to me, it means we just do it because we want to. There's no cameras around and the press. We just did it.
And that's the beautiful part. But someone like me wants to step in with the camera because I want the world to see it.
Yes.
And I think you guys are humble and beautiful people and doing a lot more good than anyone realizes.
Wish the city knew it.
I know. But and also, so a quick plug, even though I'm not running an organization any longer because I needed to step back for my own well-being, I am my soul dog. Everybody knows you have a soul dog, right? You can love all your dogs, but there's one dog that's like and my Lexi passed. She was the reason I started Mums and Mutts. She was the reason I got involved with Mummers altogether, like the Mummers Museum, everything. She passed the end of March this year. Ooh. It's the hardest thing of my life. So what I've done is I paired with Street Tales Animal Rescue, who was a big, one of the biggest beneficiaries for Mums and Mutts. And we have like a fund called Lexi's Legacy.
Oh, that's nice.
So we are raising money in Lexi's name for Street Tales Animal Rescue. I'm actually going to be hosting an event for them. It's called Hound-O-Ween. It's in Northern Liberties at Liberty Lands Park on October 19th. And it's just a really fun, kind of like fall festival vibe. I'll be hosting that for them. And I'm also raffling off Eagles versus Giants tickets to raise money for Lexi's Legacy. So
you can, the fall festival here at the Mummers Museum is a very long time during the day, so make sure you get to both.
Yeah, there's a day of fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What time is your event?
11 to 4.
Okay, 11 to 4. There you go.
So
you got to check it out.
You can split your time and come by, bring your dog in costume, raise some money for great rescue animals who so desperately need it, and come out and see me and say hi.
Is Lexi's Legacy running permanently? Is it a certain window?
It's forever. I want her legacy to continue, and because of her, I don't want to cry, but because of her, she gave so much, and so many animals' lives were saved because she lived, because she just existed in this world.
Yeah.
So I want to continue this forever. And I don't have to run an organization anymore. I just call it Lexi's Legacy, but all the money goes to Street Tales.
Awesome.
Street Tales is an incredible organization. If you want to adopt, please adopt, don't shop. And it's just incredible. And my goal here is to just continue raising funds and raising awareness.
I was going to say, because Lexi, her story and your story was birthed in the Mummers. I just want to say that, if you are interested in being a sponsor or donating, Lexi's Legacy will be on our list of fundraisers and foundations that you can, sponsor and donate to.
streettales.org/Lexi's Legacy.
Yep. So we'll add that to our sponsorship list. We take episode sponsors, but all the money goes to Mummers related charities and Mummers individuals that are in need of whatever.
Love that.
Yep.
I mean, of course, it's still Mummers giving back,
Giving
right?
back, yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
what it's always been about. And you guys, you're incredible. I love you all, and I love everyone that I meet.
You.
I mean, it's just an honor to be a part of this community.
Well, before we let you go tonight, we have to bring it back full circle. Did the prep for 2025 start already? You getting ready to go, or what's the deal?
So it hasn't officially started for me yet. I'm sure the station has started. It normally starts for us about a month before. Well, maybe even maybe before that, but December's crazy, and the week, but God forbid you relax the week between.
Don't we know it?
New Year's. You guys have Hell Week, so I know that's awful. But we get this book, right? We get this book like this big, and it's every single brigade, every single association, what shout outs they want, who their captain is, what their theme is, all the things. And sometimes you'll get so much information. Like I've had bands, give me brigades that have given me, 3 pages. I'm like, I have about 3 minutes, and part of that you're going to actually be performing. So I don't want to be talking over you, but I'm going to try to get as much as I can in. And I'll tell you what, that morning, the phone, I'm still getting texts while I'm in the booth before we go live. I forgot to mention Johnny Smith's, second kid's birthday. And I'm like, all right, I'll try my best. So the parade prep will start, but it will get crazy in December. And then we do a lot of Zoom call meetings or phone call meetings with the different captains, the different association heads, trying to make sure we don't forget anything, that we have all the information that we need. Sometimes I have to stalk some of the wench brigades, you guys know who you are, and say, hey guys, I need your write-up. But other than that, it's just fun getting prepped. And I try to stay away from people after Christmas because I'm so scared I'm going to get sick. Now, that's the nightmare I have multiple times, is that I wake up New Year's morning and I'm sick with the flu and I can't go on TV. And I'm like, what are they going to do? I mean, the show will go on. I think they'll be fine without me. But in my mind, I'm like, what will they do?
That actually happened this past year with someone who was supposed to do the brigade announcing. We had a last minute replacement because, they got sick and
call me
come.
if you need me.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's your way
last
right
year,
in.
did we have a judge get sick?
Yeah, yes.
Up at the convention center.
Really?
Yeah.
See, you just never know. That's my biggest fear. I take elderberry supplements like crazy that week.
Yep.
And everyone, I'm like, stay away. My friends are like, oh, it's like everybody's on vacation that week. Do you want to go to dinner? Nope. I can't be in a crowded restaurant. I can't get sick.
All of Philadelphia is sold out of emergency that entire week.
Yes.
And
like
Aleve and Advil.
And what's the anti-diarrhea?
Imodium.
My husband.
It's in everybody's kit.
My husband's got the Imodium and the baby powder.
Which I still don't understand, the whole Imodium thing for the brigades. We're in a convention center now for 25 years?
Bathrooms.
There's a bathroom every 15 feet.
But do you want to use it?
That's kind of true. Yeah, taking everything off, but
After
it's
the
really
entire
not that
week, I think
bad.
I'll skip the bathroom on New Year's Day. I'll take the
That's
Imodium.
amazing. Oh my goodness.
Well, thanks for coming out. It was
Thank
fun.
you
It was a
for
fun
having me.
conversation.
This
It
has
was
been
awesome.
a blast. I can't wait to see all the wonderful things that your podcast does and how big it becomes, because you guys are all awesome. You're all different pillars of the Mummers community. So you got a big fan in me, and I wish you guys nothing but success.
Well, since you're such a big fan and you're a TV pro now, why don't you do all the call to actions for it?
All right, guys. All right. Follow Mum Nation on Facebook. Listen to the podcast on Apple Music and watch and listen on Spotify. Don't forget to leave a comment for us. Also tell them how much you loved having Megan as a guest. Interact with our poll on Spotify. We like to see your opinions. An idea for an episode, comment, or reach out. These guys will get right back to you. And follow this show on Spotify and Apple Music, and comment and share your thoughts on Mum Nation. I mean, everybody shares maybe too many thoughts on Mum Nation.
You're telling me.
God bless you, Phil. And make sure you turn on your alerts for new episodes so that you don't miss a single episode. And if you know someone that's interested in sponsoring, please reach out. Your donation benefits a number of great mummers causes at your choosing. And I'll give this right back. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being
Great for
here.
having
Thank
you for Word on the Street podcast. We'll be back down here at the Mummers Museum soon. For Mike Jacobs,
Billy Yoakum.
And Haley Harron.
we'll see you next time.